I'm stunned. A 9 out of 10 evolution. Naomi is your new world champion. Rhea Ripley and Io Sky just had a more than a banger. They went almost 30 minutes, 5-star match, and in the end, a cash in which genuinely surprised me. A battered Naomi who just lost to Jade Cargill in a match which had great spots, but I think could have gone longer and maybe could have had Bianca been involved in the finish more. But I don't think anyone expected that. Just the spots that happened in the match, like the reverse Frankensteiner, Io jumping from the top of like construction, what equipment, then the Spanish fly from the top, the razor's edge by Rhea, then the kick out on that Io Sky's moonsault, though I think she didn't hit it right because it felt like Rhea was kind of catching her, but I thought that was over. But the kick out and the crowd reaction on that kick out, like they just like erupted when that kick out happened because even I don't think even they expected that. like I didn't think a ref bump would happen, but a ref bump happened. Even though she was down for a lot of time, I was like, get up, ref. You are a wrestler. You wrestle under a mask on live events. And like Rhea getting frustrated that she just can't beat Io. Like when they hit that Spanish fly, I was like, what is happening? Because I thought that was the moment that the finish is gonna happen. That Rhea is gonna hit the riptide from the top, and I was a little bit like, huh? Io hitting the Spanish fly, and then Naomi came out. I was like, yeah, oh, that's why they did it because it felt like out of place. It felt like they were going for the finish. There were a lot of times in the match as well, they're going for the finish, they're going for the finish. But then Rhea hit some other move other than Riptide, and I was like, okay, this is not gonna result in a win, but I'm glad that the match is going along. And man, that was insane. Like anyone who says that women's wrestling is not good, well, I think they are just misogynist if they are saying that after watching the show. I don't think any match was like bad. The thing is, I really didn't like the tag match which everyone else did because I think like it felt like they didn't hit any spots wrong. It just felt like they barely managed to hit those spots right, and it felt like a little bit of like pacing issues. Even the end, like Raquel should put some more like strength into that Tahana bomb. It really feels a little bit lackluster, like when Omos does it. Like that spot with the spear one was like, I find it fine, people find it really like great, but that was probably the moment that will unite Alexa and Charlotte. Like people are really giving Alexa and Charlotte reactions. The Tribune article, and I think the partnership with Alexa, and then combined it with the Tribune article, I think really worked in Charlotte's favor. That they are giving her like genuine babyface reactions, and Alexa is already over. I think whenever Liv Morgan returns, I think that will be the time where you either give the titles to some like maybe Alexa and Charlotte there, or maybe you give it to some heel team, and that heel team then goes into WrestleMania where Alexa and Charlotte win those titles. Because I don't think this was the right decision that Raquel and Roxanne won. I think Sol Ruka really like shined in the match. I'm kind of disappointed that Zarya didn't really get anything. The only thing that she did get was like when they were hitting like tag moves, she was like holding Sol Ruka on the top. Her hitting that Soul Snatcher on Charlotte was really great. She sold it well, maybe fine, but not well. And apart from that, I think just a great, like in the end, the right people won, and I'm glad Raquel and Roxanne are tag champions. But it's just that I don't see now the Kabuki Warriors disbanding, because who else is there for Raquel and Roxanne to feud with? And the thing is that Kyrie has wins over Roxanne, so it kind of makes sense for them to go after the tag titles because she didn't get pinned. So I think probably the next challenges for Roxanne and Raquel, the Judgment Day, would be the Kabuki Warriors. I think they would be the next challengers. And because they're in the Judgment Day, I hope that those titles at least get defended like more than like in 3 months one time. And the Jade versus Naomi match, I think it could have gone 5 minutes longer. Yeah, like it was a little bit slow, but I think that was fine for this match because it was a plunder match. And and Jade looked really well in the match. Like her hitting her with the camera, her almost like breaking Naomi's face. Like Naomi just missed the fucking toolbox. Like when Naomi kicked her into the fucking TVs and on the announce table, that that happened. But it looks like the Jade and Naomi stuff is over. I think probably now going into SummerSlam, I think what's probably gonna happen is it's gonna be Naomi, Rhea, and Io. I can see that a triple threat happening at SummerSlam because otherwise, who there are no challengers, and it makes sense because like you getting pinned here like really didn't like frighten me. Like I was always like, oh, Rhea is now winning. I don't oppose Rhea winning. It's just that Io didn't get a fair shake. Io didn't get a fair shake in her title. And looking at this match, I was like, why couldn't you have just given her opponents? Like could have had some like mid card women feuding with Io. Maybe Io could have elevated them, but in the end, this finish keeps Io in the women's world title picture. So I'm not cross about it, and this happened on a cash in, so she's protected also. You also have the Rhea versus Io story continuing that Rhea has still not beaten Io. And I think the SummerSlam match is now out clear. It's going to be Naomi, Rhea, and Io because uh, Rhea didn't get pinned and Io lost her title to a cash in. So it's pretty certain, and I think maybe Io will. It would be bad, but Io would probably get pinned again at SummerSlam. But it's okay. At least she's in the women's world title picture, and she'll be prominent now. This is a good triple threat going into like a SummerSlam, and Naomi deserves it. Like everything she has been through, her being like the baby face for like since 2016 till this year, like she was baby face for like straight up 9 years. Like she never turned heel. Like, only time she was heel was in the 2014-15 like bad days, like team bad days, and she never, and she was always kind of like a tier below all the other baby faces. She was always like, okay, Naomi can dance and they can get a pop. Maybe sometimes she can challenge, but lose in the end. But now she's at the top. She was accused of being unprofessional. She went to TNA, made a name, came back. It took a little bit of time, but she's back at top again. And the thing is that Stephanie won the Battle Royal, which I think some of the choices that they made in the Battle Royal was interesting. I didn't like that Izzy and Paxley were eliminated so easily. Like you had people like Candice LeRae and other people that you could have maybe done for Naya's like early elimination. Maybe not Candice. And in a way, like what are they doing with Candice? Like Candice is with DIY, but then suddenly she's not there for like 2 weeks, and now suddenly Naya and Candice are back again. Maybe they're putting Naya and Candice again as a tag team. Like is Candice doing double duty now? Is she going to be with DIY and she's going to be with Nia Jax? Because in a way, the tag team division does need more tag teams, and Nia and Candice have been together for a while. I think Tiffany versus Trish, I think crowd was also like a little bit like lenient. Like I don't think Tiffany versus Trish deserved This Is Awesome chance. It was fine match. It didn't go on for too long. It was a perfectly serviceable match. Like in at start you could see like Trish was taking a little bit time to get used to the pace of the match. Some moves like she did like the pin thing at the start also, but Tiffany hit her with like Roddy's move, and I'm like, she's an ROH mark. Like she took the moonsault from Christopher Daniels. She's doing this here. In the end, it is that Tiffany worked as a heel in this match, which encapsulates her face run. It's that she's a face, but at the same time, she acts as a heel towards the heels. Like her promos are essentially the Tiffany heel promos. It's just that she does it towards the heels. And in this match, you can see Trish was a face and she was kind of like working heel even though both got cheated. In the end, Tiffany won in a solid match, and it was like you should have given Tiffany more solid matches like this. In the end, Trish got a standing ovation. Like, I don't think Trish is retiring because there are sometimes they just need Trish because they're like we don't really have any opponents we will have. But if she does retire, like having your last match as the women's world championship match, going out on a all women's pay per view, like your contribution built that. Like you were the first women along with Lita to main event a WWE show, WWE Raw. You like this crowd was very like in knowledge because they cheered for Lelani Kai. Like people remember Lelani Kai. They cheered for her. They cheered for all the women that were there in the crowd. It's funny that Kelly refused. I think she probably thought that other people will also refuse, but they didn't. Like Melina, everyone was there, and I'm really glad that WWE didn't overuse legends. Like they use Nikki Bella, like who has wrestled in the past, like who wrestled on the Royal Rumble, who fairly recently in the recent years 2016 2017 retired from active in ring competition. So it's fine, and especially like Kelly demanding like you are a legend only because you're sexy and people liked you. Otherwise, you have done absolutely nothing, and you got famous because of that, and because you have two first names. Like they did honor women's legends. You don't need to honor them by having them in a match. They did that. And and also the battle royal, like Lash legend getting to the last three, getting to the last two was really awesome. Like it shows that they're really putting their stocks behind her. And also that in a way, like Ivy Nile getting packed up quick. I liked Kelani getting the Kofi spot, and then it's just that Julia getting eliminated by Zelina. It's like we are doing this again. It feels like they are doing a serious Zelina face because she was there in dark makeup and everything. I just hope they don't make Zelina champion again so that Julia can beat her in the third match. Do this feud again, do another match, and move forward. I hope that Alexa and Charlotte get added into this because maybe Charlotte can be like fighting with her feelings like, okay, a moment happened, I saved you, but we didn't win, so I'm gonna go for the US Championship. And Alexa is also like, okay, I'll also go. And then because that would help Julia to really establish herself as US champion. And Stephanie just has aura. She just has like her getting that entrance. The end entrance going to Julia was good. I just hope that she could have been in the last three because I felt like maybe Julia and Stephanie would be the last or maybe last three, but it didn't. And big that Lash legend, eliminated Nikki Bella. Stephanie and Lash eliminated Nia Jax. So overall, and the last sequence I liked is apart from like the devil's kiss being the reason that Lash got eliminated, that looked a little bit goofy, but Stephanie won and she got the big presentation. You had Stephanie McMahon speaking in Spanish to her, and she just gave a heartfelt promo that she doesn't know English, but wrestling is her first language, and that she will prove that you will remember the name Stephanie Walker, and it just felt heartfelt. And I think Stephanie will probably her role during this SummerSlam build will be her hanging in the horizon, just like talking to everyone, be it Rhea, be it Io, be it Naomi. And like I'm happy that Naomi won. It's just that I won't be surprised if in Paris Stephanie Walker won the championship. I won't be surprised by that because in a way they can have Stephanie beat Naomi, and then Naomi can straight away go back to like the Bianca and Jade stuff. Like she has something to work there with. And Naomi got her moment, and that way she can put over a new star also. But I won't mind if Naomi has a long reign, like at least till Mania. It's just that what is the plan with her? Like probably Naomi is you losing that title, or someone is losing that title before Crown Jewel, because Crown Jewel you're gonna have champion versus champion matches, and I don't see Rhea being the one not being champion when Crown Jewel happens. It's happening in Australia, so I feel she's gonna be as a champion. So let's see what happens there with that. Like a gauntlet match was announced, like Braun uh, versus CM Punk versus LA Knight versus Jey Uso, and whoever enters the gauntlet match will face Gunther at SummerSlam. And I think probably the final two will either be CM Punk and Braun or CM Punk and LA Knight. I'm just a little bit like not happy that LA Knight just defeated Seth Rollins, and it would have made much like if LA Knight could have directly been inserted into the world title picture, you didn't need to have him win that. But then it just feels like in the end it will be CM Punk taking the victory over LA Knight, and we are getting Gunther versus Punk at SummerSlam. It's just that then who wins? Like I won't be surprised if they actually have Punk defeat Gunther, but it's like, do you want to like you just had Gunther attack Goldberg? Do you like immediately want him to lose the title, or maybe like still keep that shine for a while and have Punk win the title later? Let's see. Like I can see Gunther retaining by maybe a Ricky Saints debuting or something at SummerSlam. I can see that happening. I can see that. I think probably LA's match at SummerSlam will be LA and Penta versus Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker, and maybe LA Knight and Penta win that match because Sami Zayn returns at SummerSlam. I think maybe that is the consolation prize that LA gets. And apart from that, I think what were the other matches that happened? I think the JC Jane versus Jordan Grace match. First, it was helped by the crowd, that the crowd was very invested, and I think they did like it was a 3.5 bordering near 4 match. I just think that Michael Cole fucked it up with the heel turn like call, and also crowd really didn't react to the heel turn. Maybe my TV was wrong, and like Blake Monroe just feels right in that role. She just, her face, the way it went from like glamorous like babyface, I'm just happy to be here, like I am Mariah May, I'm the devil bitch, like her just smiling, and like JC Jane being surprised, her handing the title. Like I can see Masha Slamovich probably winning the championship from JC at Slammiversary, and I think what's probably gonna happen is in this Jordan Grace and uh, Blake Monroe feud, I think Blake would win, and then Blake would probably defeat Masha Slamovich. I just want that like Jordan Grace gets a good send off because she has faced for the NXT Women's Championship 4 times and she has lost every time. I think the best thing is get Jordan quick uh, on the show. Like I think probably Blake and Jordan are gonna have their match at Heatwave, and I think probably then Jordan will get called up to the main roster, and I hope her first few days against Nia Jax, and then probably later maybe at a next TNA event or maybe at an episode of NXT or maybe another PLE, you have Mara Blake Monroe taking the title from Masha Slamovich. I think they're going to give TNA this movement because Trick Williams got that moment. So let's see what happens there. The match was very good. Like I think it exceeded expectations. Of course, JC was a little bit slow sometimes, but Jordan Grace showed out. I think in the end they did solid work. They had a video package so that everyone can understand what the fuck is happening, and I think it was fine. And the first triple threat, I think the first triple threat was a 4 out of 5 for me. It's just that because it was so fast and because they were so perfect in reversing each other's moves, it felt a little bit too choreographed, too perfect for me. And but in the end, like Becky was smart. She like Bailey was about to win. She hit the rose plant, but Becky like did the fucking like backslide, like smooth backslide into a win and retained her title. And I can probably see this leading to Lyra versus Bailey happening at either at this or the next Raw. Lyra defeats Bailey, and I can see that maybe with a roll up, maybe clean, and that way you set up Becky versus Lyra at SummerSlam. Maybe Becky can then win, win at SummerSlam, not clean, maybe because Bailey comes and Bailey turns heel on Lyra, and then Becky can go on and face other people, maybe Kylie Sane, maybe Asuka and everyone, and you can have like a blood feud between Lyra and Bailey, where eventually like Lyra comes out on top. Maybe Lyra then can get elevated to the women's world title. She doesn't really need to go after the IC championship. I can see that happening. I think it was the right decision. Becky won, and they just have insane chemistry. Being the first match, I was sad that they didn't got a video package because this was probably the only match with solid build and the only match which had actual kind of build. So it was kind of sad that it didn't get the video package. I think overall the commentary was good. Like apart from like Michael Cole, I think Michael Cole was like typical Michael Cole. He didn't really add anything, but his like calls, him saying Candice LeRae, Candice Michelle, him like oh backfire, backfire when Blake Monroe hit her deliberately. I think that took away from the show. But other than that, he wasn't really like good or great, but he wasn't really bad. He was like hit and he was like if he was not there, I wouldn't have noticed. Barrett was really good at commentary, like him losing his mind over Trish Stratus, Stephanie, him calling the fucking Devil's Kiss bouncy bouncy was really fun. And Stephanie though got a huge pop for her remix. I like her remix theme. It felt like they were putting too much of Stephanie that I created women's wrestling, but they put her in a way that even if you're cross, you're like, okay, fine. And Stephanie Burkett is a star, and also apart from that, what else do you have? I think I have talked about everything, every match. Like this sets up like in the end you had a great moment between Io and Rhea like hugging each other, like Rhea saying that we main evented Evolution, we did it. I think if this show had proper 4 weeks of build, if this was the main focus of the weekly shows, I could have seen the ticket sales maybe go up to 9,300, maybe 9,500, maybe 10,000 also, because they didn't do any build aside from like 2 weeks. They really had good build in the last week, and then they had the whole the media stuff happening, and they sold like more than 1,000 tickets in like 5 days. Like people were expecting it would be like a 7.5 thousand show. It was an 8,300 show, which is really good for a show which was struggling like 6,000 in like 2 to 3 weeks, 4 weeks, a month, and then 2,000 in the last 2 weeks. Then you had all the black celebrities show up also. It was funny that they had all the black celebrities before the all like the women, the match involving black women, though it was Atlanta. This was a better crowd than the Bad Blood crowd, certainly. And also I like that they were not doing what chants on Stephanie Walker. And also that in the end, in Atlanta, a black woman closes the second Evolution show as the women's world champion, which is great. And I think WWE just stole the show on the weekend because All In did happen, but it happened yesterday. And giving a women's show, and I have to give Rhea versus Io 5 stars. It's just that they gave them the time that everyone who watches matches on independent is like this match is really good, but it could have been something if they got like time, and they got time here. And in the end, a surprise roll up, in the end a surprise cash in, like this was just perfect. WWE's overall PLE of the year, like none of the matches were like bad, they were serviceable or they were like good, but in they were clunky sometimes. And overall really enjoyable show. It was like it ended in less than 3.5 hours, which is good for 7 matches, and WWE can do that if they have 7 matches on every PLE. They won't go that long because 3.5 hours for a 7 match card is not bad, and everyone gets enough time and everyone gets represented on the card. So I hope Triple H knows this and does this, that, and of course have Evolution every year. Give women's wrestling more chance on the TV so that they can actually have a chance to outshine the male stars. Put them in more main event positions. Give their matches more time. Give them more promo segments. Have them in prominent positions. Add more women's matches on normal cards. 5 out of 5 match and a 9 out of 10 show. Maybe 9.5, 9.75, 10. I don't know. So this was my review. What did you think about this show? Tell me in the comment section. If you like this review, Like, and if you like this type of content, like this video, share and subscribe. If you don't, then share it with those who do. My social media accounts, which are my Twitter/X account and my Instagram account, links in the description, so go follow me on that. My UPI ID link, which is sharpboy@okicici, is in the description, so go donate any amount of money which can help me make YouTube a permanent career option. So that was it for me for right now. So thank you, goodbye, Alvida.